Hey guys, what's up? Moon News taking new releases coming theaters soon. Something in boxes will become so all new releases. The reason I'm using my laptop and not on my phone is because the flash drive's been having some issues. Until that's fixed, I'll be using my laptop for now. Anyways, all new releases come out June 16th. The first one is Cars 2, which is the newest Pixar film. It's the third installment in the Cars franchise. It's directed by Brian Fee, who was a storyboard artist on Cars and Cars 2. The script's written by Keel Murray, Bob Pearson, Mike Rich. Stories written by Fee, Ben Queen, Isle Podell, Jonathan E. Stewart. If I pronounce any words wrong, feel free to comment for pronunciation. Has voice talents of Owen Wilson, Armie Hammer, Christelle Alonso, Larry the Cable Guy, Bonnie Hunt, Chris Cooper, Nathan Fillion, Tony Shalhoub, Guido Quaroni, Kerry Washington, Leah Delaria, Lloyd Sher, Paul Dooley. It also has unused audio recordings of the late Paul Newman from the first film as Doc Hudson, who will be appearing in flashbacks. As much as I love Pixar, I don't care. Even though this film has a 67% based on 24 reviews, which means that's automatically better than Cars 2, really, that's not that hard. That's not hard for me to believe. This has just been my least favorite property from this company. I love Pixar, I do, but I just never really was a fan. I don't care about this at all. I did see the first Cars when it came out in theaters, but I was like 8 years old, and of course I ate it up. I liked anything at that point. And, I adored it at the time. I haven't seen it in years. I have no idea if I will like it, but hopefully I will at least enjoy it. I don't know. But I will tell you one thing. I do not like Cars 2. It is the only Pixar film I do not like. For me, it's their biggest mistake, and honestly, I hope they've apologized for it. Because for me, it went against everything that the company stood for. It felt like they were just trying to sell toys, because a lot of it felt like a toy commercial, especially since the fact that, especially the fact that this series has definitely been big in terms of merchandising, especially the first two films. And it just kind of felt like that. It felt kind of cynical in that regard. Also, didn't help that Mater was the main character, which was an absolutely horrible idea. I mean, why? Why would they make a comic relief character the main character? It didn't work in Planet Sheen. And what else can I say about that hasn't already been said by Mr. Enter and Pie Guy Rules? I mean, they work best when the world reacts to them. But when they react to the world, it's more or less the same punchline, and it can get really annoying. And it didn't really help that I'm not a big fan of Mater in the first place. I think it's mostly because I don't find his humor very funny. It is very juvenile, and in fact, it's probably the most juvenile humor Pixar's ever done, and it doesn't bother me, but it never really worked for me. Not to mention the fact that they did this spy route was an absolutely stupid idea. They could have just made an original film based. They could just, if they wanted to, they could have just made an original film with human characters, something like that. It's not impossible. And it's not like they're not short on original ideas. Of course not. But they decided to do with Cars 2, and sure, it made some money, but it did unfortunately end their streak of critical success. It was still a commercial success, but every single film had been well received to this point. They all had a fresh rating Rotten Tomatoes, and this was the first one to get a Rotten rating, and hopefully it is the only one. I am glad that they're doing a story that's much more personal and emotional like the first film, but that still doesn't change the fact that this series just means nothing to me anymore. Not to mention it didn't help that they really exploited Mater's popularity after the first one came out, because they gave him his own short film called Mater and the Ghost Light, I believe it's called, which is actually included in the DVD, which I own, which is nothing to write home about. It's well animated, but really doesn't mean much. And honestly, knowing if I'm not a big fan of Mater, and the fact that he screams a lot, it's not really that funny. It actually gets kind of annoying. Also, didn't really help that they also gave him his own miniseries called Mater's Tall Tales, which honestly had the same formula over and over again, and it didn't really, it got old for me. And they showed it a lot on TV at that time when it was airing, and I just didn't care. Once again, it's well animated, but it's Pixar. They're very talented animators. It's not surprising to me. And while this film is a very talented crew and voice cast, once again, I just don't care. I will give them credit for the teaser trailer, though. That's definitely unique. That's definitely one way to hook viewers. But it didn't change the fact that at first I was very skeptical about it. But as time went on, I just cared less and less about it. I just hope this is the last one, because honestly, I'm getting tired of this, because one, I just don't care about this property anymore. And it also doesn't help that I find the world very confusing. And I think Cars 2 made it even worse, considering the fact that, especially considering the fact that that one of the new characters they introduced that film created this alternate field called All in All, which, considering the fact that oil is basically a life source for them, comes off to me as kind of confusing. And yes, I've seen Mr. Enter's review of that film. I've seen it numerous times because I'm such a big fan of him. But yeah, it came off to me as bizarre. But honestly, the entire spy thing is stupid as it is, and I hope I hope that they are completely distance themselves from that film because honestly, that was a mistake. It really was. Honestly, if they disregarded it, I wouldn't care. Honestly, I'd be relieved because honestly, honestly associating themselves with that film is already a joke. Is already sad. But honestly, this series just doesn't have much meaning to me. I hope that it's at least enjoyable, and I hope that the series ends on a solid note. But I really do hope this is the last one. I don't think they can keep it going any longer because what else can they do with it? And also, when it comes to like the world being confusing to me, and I don't think the company has confirmed the Pixar theory, so we have to take it as its own separate universe. It just doesn't make sense to me how these sentient cars, and the fact the cars are sentient doesn't bother me. My problem is how are they able to build like certain structures like racetracks, and of course construct buildings. When it comes to paving roads, that doesn't surprise me. They showed that in the first film, so that's not shocking to me. It's not confusing or baffling or anything like that. It's believable. But unfortunately, nothing else. Seriously, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is much more believable. Yes, the characters are ponies, and yes, they have some other creatures as well. But they show ponies being able to build things, and they have much more flexible movements than not only just average ponies, but the average human. Of course, it's a 2D cartoon, so it's not surprising. But knowing that they have such extreme flexible movements, and the fact that they're basically able to do certain things an average human can, the world feels much more believable in that regard. This, however, really doesn't. To me, at least. Honestly, I'm just mad that if anything, I'm just more mad that they made a sequel to Cars rather than The Incredibles first. That makes me really mad, though I'm so excited for The Incredibles 2. It took them way too long. Very worth the wait. I don't know, I might check this out, but it's not very high on my list at the moment. Honestly, I don't care at all about it, and honestly, I just really hope that this is the end of the franchise. Sorry I'm being mean, but honestly, I don't care anymore. Next one is All Eyes on Me, which is a biopic centered around Tupac Shakur. It's directed by Benny Boom, written by Jeremy Haft, Eddie Gonzalez, and Stephen Bagatorian. Stars Demetrius Shipp Jr., Denai Guerrera, Lauren Cohen, Jamie Hector, Annie Ilonze, Jamal Woolard, Kat Graham, Dominic L. Santana. I'm kind of interested in this. Unfortunately, I haven't really listened to any of Tupac's music, and also what definitely makes me a little bit hesitant is because the director Benny Boom, because he did one film that unfortunately is not very well received. Hold on, let me look for it. And Next Day Air, yeah, that was very poor received. It's like a 21%, unfortunately. And I don't know. I think the main concern is the director, but there are some good musical biopics. Straight Outta Compton, I thought was great. So hopefully this is another good or even flat out great one. And one thing I gotta give credit to is definitely the casting of Demetrius Shipp Jr. because he looks a lot like Tupac. I gotta give a lot of credit to that. They definitely got the look down. Hopefully he's able to pull it off emotionally. Hopefully he's able to pull it off acting wise. Really hope so. And also I really hope that this film is a very respectful tribute to the man and does justice to his legacy. I really do hope that it succeeds in that regard. Really hope so. Alright, the next film is Rough Night, which is a comedy directed by Lucia Aniello. It's written by her and Paul W. Downs. It stars Scarlett Johansson, Kate McKinnon, Julian Bell, Ileana Glazer, Zoe Kravitz, Demi Moore, Ty Burrell, Paul W. Downs. Colton Haynes, Hassan Minhaj, Dean Winters. And I do not care. I really don't. This looks more or less like the same kind of R-rated comedy I've been seeing all over again. And honestly, this feels like a mix. It feels like a mix of both The Hangover and Weekend at Bernie's. I love The Hangover, but Weekend at Bernie's, I think that's kind of more of like a cult. Was that more of a cult classic? Because I know it wasn't very well received to begin with. But hopefully this movie turns out to be better than that. But honestly, the marketing makes it look so freaking generic. It's honestly really annoying to me. And also, Scarlett Johansson, really? I'm okay with branching out, but why are you doing something so typical as this? Julian Bell doesn't surprise me. And honestly, I don't know. She definitely doesn't have... I mean, she doesn't really get the best rap when it comes to comedies. I mean, she doesn't star in a lot of good ones. I mean, Office Christmas Party was very poorly received. I did like, actually, The Night Before. That's an exception. I love 22 Jump Street. But I don't know. But it also didn't really help that the film Fist Fight was very poorly received, and that had her in it. And honestly, she looks like... And when I can see some of these trailers, and I see her... Whenever I see some of the jokes she says, she's almost like she's playing more or less the same character, and I'm tired of typecasting. I really am. And also... I think what also makes me a little bit more sad is the fact that the writers of this, that the director and the writers of the film, they are writers on the show Broad City, which stars Ileana Glazer, which is one of the most well received comedy shows currently airing today. I still haven't seen it, but I hope to. I really hope to. And yes, that's not surprising that Ileana Glazer is involved in this, but why did they have to make something that looks so generic and typical? Honestly, when it comes to the situations that play on the trailer, it looks like it's kind of like something you almost expect at this point, because it feels like it has more outrageous, wacky situations. Nothing automatically wrong with that, but honestly, it just doesn't feel unique or very funny to me, because I didn't really laugh that much. There was this, I don't know, there wasn't really that one, there was kind of one joke that kind of made me chuckle, but unfortunately, that by Jillian Bell, but then she just kept talking, like she added on to that, which honestly felt like improv. And that honestly kind of made me a little bit grossed out. If you've seen one of the trailers, you know what scene I'm talking about. It's obviously in a bathroom, and all the girls are standing in the bathroom. And yeah, hopefully it's better than most, but unfortunately, I just don't care at this point. I really don't. Honestly, I'm getting really tired of these kind of comedies. Really, mainstream comedies are my least favorite type of movies. I mean, sure, there are some bad independent comedies, but honestly, a lot of them are much better than this. Most of the time. Honestly, I've seen some good mainstream comedies. I love The Nice Guys. But unfortunately, this just feels more or less like the same stuff, more of the same, and I'm getting really tired of it. It's hard to convince me anymore, and unless they change it up or at least provide some actual genuine laughs, it honestly just means nothing to me. It comes off to me as just meaningless and completely pointless. It doesn't need to exist. And honestly, are people really still trying to replicate the success of The Hangover? Really? Can you do something different or original for once? It doesn't hurt to do that. I mean, come on. If you want to do a raunchy comedy, fine, but stop trying to jump on the Hangover bandwagon. And also don't make it blatantly obvious. It's really annoying at this point. Unless it gets good reviews, I am skipping it. Because I do not care. And Johansson, why? Let's hope hopefully, this turns out to be, if this gets bad reviews, if this gets bad reviews, I hope this will be a lesson. Hopefully this will teach you to make better decisions. Whatever. Next one is 47 Meters Down, which is a sort of a horror film directed by Johan Roberts, written by him and Ernest Riera. Stars Mandy Moore, Claire Holt, Chris J. Johnson, Yanni Gelman, Santiago Segura, and Matthew Modine. And this doesn't really interest me. Oh, and it currently has a 67% based on 6 reviews. Yeah, like I said, it just doesn't mean much to me. I mean, honestly, the premise of this kind of reminds me of, you guys ever heard of that Animal Planet series, Untamed and Uncut? There was this one piece of footage that there was this one segment that they showed involving this, when these two people are going in the scuba diving. They're in the shark cage, and unfortunately, something goes wrong. And this honestly kind of reminds me of that. Although a bit more exaggerated, since of course this is a movie and it's obviously a B movie premise, which that doesn't bother me. There are good B movies that exist, but honestly, I don't know. Even if it has decent reviews, it just doesn't really seem to get a reaction out of me. Unfortunately, I just really don't care that much. Also, it doesn't help that the director made previous films such as The Other Side of the Door, which Chris Stuckman really hated, and also was very poorly received, and also Storage 24, which wasn't much. Which maybe may have a slightly higher percentage approval rating Rotten Tomatoes than The Other Side of the Door. It's still rotten, so that's not a good sign. This may be a step up, I guess, but honestly, I don't care that much. My mom does, but she's honestly a very easy sell for this stuff. Dude, it's easy to sell her on these B-movie premises. And yeah, she loved Jaws. So did I, but that was much more higher class when it comes to B-movie premises. Honestly, it didn't even feel like a B-movie in all honesty. It felt more like an A-movie. Insert joke here. I don't know. It definitely has some talented people involved, I'll give them that. But unfortunately, it just doesn't really intrigue me at all. Not to mention when I saw this one cardboard display at Regal, it was, oh my god, they were obviously taking heavy inspiration from Jaws and they were being blatant about it. They didn't care. The only thing different is that they actually showed they showed much more detail of a shark's eye, looking actually like at a pupil or something like that there, which, is that even really a thing? Or are they really trying to make it slightly different from Jaws? I don't know. Maybe it'll be enjoyable. I did really enjoy The Shallows, but I don't know. Hopefully this is at least a decent shark movie, but honestly if not, then I'm probably just going to go home and rent and rewatch Jaws. No, I don't own it. I hope to though. I really, really do because I love that movie so much. Anyways, the next film is A Book of Henry, which is directed by Colin Trevorrow. It's written by Greg Hurwitz, stars Naomi Watts, Jaden Lieberher, Jacob Tremblay, Dean Norris, Maddie Ziegler, Sarah Silverman, Lee Pace, Bobby Moynihan, and Tonya Pinkins. I saw the trailer for this, and I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this. I mean, it feels like it's going to be like this, kind of like involving like a very typical drama centered around a child prodigy, but then it just starts going in the direction of almost like, it starts taking inspiration, then starts going different directions, like taking inspiration from like Rear Window, and it just honestly, the trailer just had me raising my eyebrow because I just had no idea how to react to it, because it just feels like it just gets more out of control. And they start introducing these darker themes and this different premise or something like that. Like it completely changes course in the middle of it, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's like a completely jarring tone shift, and I was left just wondering. Okay. I was left so unsure how to feel about this, though I do really like this poster. I really do. It definitely reminds me a lot of like those old films. It reminds me a lot of those old classic 80s film posters from Amblin Entertainment. Wait, is it Amblin Entertainment? Let me Oh, it is Amblin. Oh, it is Amblin Entertainment. Okay. All right, back to the movie. The only film I saw from Trevorrow was Jurassic World, which I liked. I still haven't seen Safety Not Guaranteed. But it is cool. He's doing something a bit more smaller scaled, and who knows, maybe it's original. I know it's an original script. I know this is not based on anything, but who knows, maybe it ended up being an original film. I did watch the interview he did with Chris Stuckman, and he was definitely mentioning that, he was kind of discussing that, and of course this is an original film, obviously. But I don't know. By the way, it's also going to be a limited release. Who knows? It could be something interesting or something worthwhile. I don't know. It has a good cast, I'll give them that. Especially Naomi Watts. And it definitely and it's also nice to see Jaden Lieberher and Jacob Tremblay getting more work, because they're definitely rising in the industry. And also, I mean, Tremblay is going to be in Wonder, which is an adaptation of the book of the same name, and of course Lieberher is going to be in It, the remake of the original miniseries from 1990, I believe. And of course, it's an adaptation of the Stephen King novel. I still haven't read it. I know it's long, but honestly, I don't. I have a lot of free time, so it wouldn't hurt. Moving on. Um, I'm hoping this turns out to be worthwhile because I do like Trevorrow, and I like the cast. I hope it's worthwhile. I really do. I mean. Hmm. That trailer is definitely interesting. I'll give them that. It's one of the most unusual trailers I've seen, and hopefully when it comes to that shift in tone, it's not going to be. Hopefully, it won't be as jarring as it was depicted in the trailer. Hopefully, it's much smoother than that. All right. Next one is Maudie, which is a biographical drama directed by Aisling Walsh, written by Sherry White. Stars Sally Hawkins and Ethan Hawke, Gary Matchett, Zachary Bennett, Gabriel Rose, Greg Malone. And it has an 88% 16 reviews. Based on 16 reviews. Okay, not too bad. The only thing I mean, at least has good reviews, and I love Ethan Hawke. He is one of my favorite actors working today, and also I think he co-wrote and directed a film that's currently in post production right now, according to IMDb. Can't wait for that. But anyways, this definitely has a very talented cast, and it has some pretty good reviews, so I might be willing to check it out at some point. Hope it turns out to be worthwhile. Sorry, guys. Sorry. The next one is Kill Switch. I believe it's a sci-fi film. Hold on, let me get to the Wikipedia page. Wikipedia, 100% trustworthy. I never really noticed any real false information being posted on here. Maybe there are some, but I never really noticed it myself. But anyways, it's a sci-fi film, directed by Tim Smith, written by Charlie Kindiger and Omid Nushin. Stars Dan Stevens, Berenice Marlowe, Tygo Gernot, Charity Wakefield, Baz Kaiser, Mike Libanon, and Mike Ruse. Okay. And it currently it has 3 reviews posted, 1 good, 2 bad. Ooh. It's not good. Sad because I like the cast, especially Dan Stevens, who's really been rising in the industry thanks to The Guest and Beauty and the Beast. Oh yeah, I like that film. Moving on. There really isn't much there isn't really much I can say about it. I never saw the trailer. All I know is that it exists. I do like Dan Stevens, though. Hopefully the reception improves, because honestly, I don't want to see him in bad films. I'm glad he's getting some more projects, but I would like for them to also be good ones. Let's just hope that it's a good one, and of course, it has and hopefully it just pays off. Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Next one is Score, a film music documentary, which currently has 100% 6 reviews. It's directed by Max Schrader. And this is centered around basically the entire entire process of creating a film score. Some of the people involved and some of the composers that have involvement in this are Danny Elfman, Hans Zimmer, John Williams, Howard Shore, Randy Newman, also Trent Reznor. There's some other people credited like James Cameron, Quincy Jones, and Rachel Portman. Interesting, huh? I definitely like some stuff. I definitely, it'd be interesting. I would like to see some insight into the creative process, into the entire filmmaking process, the entire creative process. And it would be kind of interesting to see the music process, especially, because honestly, everything about the process is fascinating to me. And sure, I don't notice scores most of the time, but honestly, it's not like I don't like film scores. Of course not. But it would be interesting to see something that actually offers up some insight. Hopefully, I can see this. Hopefully, I can see this, and hopefully, it will offer me. Hopefully, it will offer up something interesting in terms of insight and information into the process of creating music, like creating film scores. Oh boy, not this one. Next one is called Once Upon a Time in Venice. It's an action comedy directed by Mark Cole. Well, it says like Mark Colan is the director, but I think it's directed by Mark and Rob Colan, I believe, maybe. Either that, like either it's written and directed by Mark and Rob Colan, or it's directed by Mark and written by Mark and Rob. It stars Bruce Willis, Jason Momoa, John Goodman, Thomas Middleditch, Famke Jensen, Adam Goldberg, Elizabeth Rome, Stephanie Sigmund, Wood Harris, Christopher McDonald, Adrian Martinez, Cal Penn, Kevin Devetian, Victor Ortiz, Emily Robinson, and Tyga. And I saw a trailer for this, and oh god, I wasn't a fan of it at all. It just looks really dumb and not in an appealing way. I can enjoy a dumb comedy, of course, but I don't know. This one just doesn't really speak to me, unfortunately. The comedy didn't really hit for me. It looks just really dumb and it just doesn't seem like anything that really it just didn't really mean anything to me, unfortunately. Sad because I do like the talent involved. Sure, I heard Bruce Willis is a pain in the ass to work with, but honestly, is that anything new? And honestly, I would like to see Jason Momoa get some more goods. Would like to, have with his when it comes to the work he gets. I wish it'd be much better. Sure, there's no stuff posted yet, but still, this just doesn't look very promising. Oh wait, 3 reviews posted. All of them are bad. Damn it. Give me a break. I doubt that there's going to be much improvement in terms of reception, but hopefully it does. Though honestly, the chances of that are 1 in a million. I just really don't care that much, unfortunately. Like, it just looks like more or less the same kind of comedy I'm seeing over and over again. And I really hate seeing such great comedic talent and just good talent in general going to waste. It honestly really, all it does is just give me a massive headache. Yeah, unless the reception gets better, I am skipping it. Because I don't care. It is going to be a limited release, but also on demand. And sure, not all on-demand releases are bad. I mean, I absolutely love The Invitation. But, yeah, I don't care. This just doesn't look very promising, unfortunately. Now, the next one is Harmonium, also known as Fushi ni Tatsu. It's a Japanese drama. It's directed by Koji Fukada and also written by him. And it stars Tadanobu Asano, Mariko Tsutsi, Tsutsui, Kanji Furutashi, Taiga, Takahiro Miura, Momon Shinokawa. It currently has 100% 21 reviews. I'm very interested in this. I definitely want to see more foreign films, and of course, this is doing very well. So I hope to check it out. Hope to check it out soon. I especially want to see more foreign films because honestly, I need more. Because honestly, I want to watch more of those. Because I'm really behind on those. I especially want to watch Old Boy. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any of Chan Wook Park's work films. Go ahead and hate me, guys. I mean, I'll get to it soon. I really will. Okay. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box results from the weekend. Alright. Number 1 is Wonder Woman. Once again, $58,520,672. I'm still baffled that this got good reviews. When I woke up to that, I was completely dumbfounded. I really was because I did not expect that to happen at all. Because of course, as you guys know, I wasn't a fan of Batman v Superman or Suicide Squad, and this completely took me off guard. Though if anything, I'm beyond glad. I still haven't seen it, but I really hope to watch it soon, because well, obviously it has like 93%. Why wouldn't I watch it? And also the fact that's actually legit, that DCEU film's finally getting good reviews. Of course, I'm going to support it. It's worth it. Number two is The Mummy, $31,688,375. This actually has the biggest global opening for a Tom Cruise film. Amazing when you think about it. Why wasn't the case for Edge of Tomorrow? I will never get over that. But anyways, not too bad, but it's definitely going to start plummeting right after that, unfortunately. Because obviously, it's not getting good press. It's got very bad reviews, and I haven't seen it. I do have a Cinemark gift card, and honestly, I haven't used it yet, so maybe I'll just waste money on that. But for now, I'm just not gonna watch it because honestly, because I was really interested in it, but I became more unsure as more trailers were released. And knowing that the reviews are really bad, yeah, it seems to obviously just not be worth the investment. So I'm either just gonna wait until I can rent it, or I might as well just finally get rid of that Cinemark gift card because I've been waiting too long. Number three, Captain Underpants: The First Epic Movie, $12,180,704. I was actually like before. I was actually amazed that this got good reviews because I know the book series was popular, but I never read them. It was probably when I was in elementary school, but I never thought I'd get good reviews. I thought they just hit an absolute. I thought DreamWorks hit another massive low, or they were about to hit another low, and also, it's kind of weird to me that the two main kids were voiced by adults, Thomas Middleditch and Kevin Hart, but whatever. But knowing that got good reviews, I'm definitely willing to check this out at some point because honestly, why not? Doesn't hurt. Hopefully, it turns out to be worth it. Number four, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales, $10,074,103. I actually saw this with my friend because he was actually a fan of it, but he was originally very excited for it. But then once he saw the bad press, he became a little bit more hesitant. And after we saw it, we weren't fans of it. I just didn't care. It's actually the second Pirates film I've ever watched. The other one I watched is the first film. I gotta watch the others, even though I haven't heard they're not very good, especially on Stranger Tides. But honestly, whatever. I can't. I mean, a lot of people complain about the continuity errors, but since, of course, but I'm not just going to jump on the bandwagon. I need to watch their films for myself in order to make sure that complaint is just as valid as other people are making out to be. But knowing that's a constant complaint, I'm probably not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that turns out to be valid. And and the film for me just didn't really work for me. It had there were some moments of some really bad green screen. Seriously, it's some of the worst I've seen all year. Amazing, especially it's a $230 million budget. Amazing, because I actually heard it was like because actually when I looked at it much earlier before, it was like 320. Did they somehow reduce the budget or something like that? Moving on. Yeah. And I think they're making a sixth film, and I hope that's the last. I really didn't care about this film at all. It wasn't worth it for me. Number five, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, $6,312,357. I'm glad this made more money. I am happy this film made more money than the first film. But I didn't think it was better. I liked it, but I do think it just wasn't as good as the first film, obviously. I am glad I made money, though, because it was a lot of fun. It definitely was funny, but it did have some issues. I wasn't a big fan of was it called the Sovereign or something like that? That Society of Gold people? Though the main antagonist, which I'm not going to spoil for people who haven't seen the movie yet, though honestly I'm not sure who hasn't. Definitely a lot better than Ronan, obviously. Special effects were really good. In fact, they're just as great as the first film. And while the humor may not have been as funny as the first film, there definitely were some very funny moments. And I like that they expanded on the characters, especially Yondu. Love that guy. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Glad I watched it. 6. It Comes at Night. $5,988,370. I really like this film. And honestly, this is the kind of horror film I want to see more of. And thank you A24 for distributing it. It was much more slower paced, much more subtle, and it's also much more, and it's psychological horror, so it's more centered around the characters, which definitely made it a lot more interesting. And definitely, and of course, it wasn't your typical, you know, it wasn't your typical horror film. Basically, I did have some problems with it though. Riley Keough, I thought maybe I would have liked a few bit more I would have liked Riley Keough to have a few more lines, I guess. Not really that big of a complaint, but it would have been nice. And my real big complaint though was definitely the dream sequences. They had like four of them, and it was basically but it basically took away from the subtlety of the rest of the film, which unfortunately. And they did so many times that it ended up becoming less and less effective. They showcased, I mean, don't get me wrong, they showcased some disturbing imagery, but unfortunately, even though it makes sense in context, it just is showcased so much that unfortunately it just takes away from the film. I wonder what Schultz's intention was there, because honestly, the only way I can ever see the point of those was to demonstrate the declining mental state of one of the characters in the film, Travis. That's really all I can say. And I'm really sad that a lot of people, that audiences are responding very negatively towards this. It's like The Witch. It's The Witch all over again, but this time even worse. I mean, I love The Witch. I mean, The Witch I think is better than this, but this is still. I still thought this was really good, and honestly, I want to see more films like this being made. And this film didn't cost too much to make. It'll definitely make its budget back soon. Unfortunately, though, I'm just really sad that it didn't open up. That it got a very weak. That it didn't have a very strong opening. Maybe some people will grow to appreciate it over time. Same with The Witch, hopefully. I don't know. I still really like this film, though. It was definitely very intense, and honestly, I want more horror films like this to be made. If you didn't like it, that's fine. If you loved it, fine. If you're down the middle, like, I can understand every single opinion. I can understand every single reaction to the film. It's understandable. Number 7 is Baywatch, $4,640,207. I saw this with my family, and I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan at all of it. I didn't really laugh that much. I only laughed I think I laughed 2 or 3 times. I think I chuckled 3 or 4. And I liked it better than Snatched, but it still didn't really work for me all entirely. It's meant to be very raunchy, and that's fine, but it didn't really work for me that much. Any attempts it had at being meta or poking fun at the source material, it wasn't clever at all. It just came off more like name dropping or something like that. Didn't really work for me. Not to mention the cameos from the two. Not to mention the 2 cameos from David Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson didn't really mean anything to me. David Hasselhoff's was definitely better than Pamela Anderson's, but still. I can't deny the charisma of the cast, especially the charisma of Dwayne Johnson and Zac Efron, but it didn't unfortunately make the film worthwhile for me. And knowing the fact that I wasn't enjoying the film, it made the awful green screen CGI even more of an annoyance. I mean, it probably would have been, knowing the fact this film is trying to be bad, and it's self-aware of that, but since I wasn't enjoying it, the green screen CGI only became more of a distraction, which yeah, that's not a good sign. Not to mention it also just had some cliche characters, and I really didn't laugh that much. For me, it just wasn't worth it. And if they want us to make a sequel, fine, but I don't care at all about it. The rest of the family enjoyed it, but I didn't. Sorry. 8. Megan Levy, $3,810,867. I was actually really surprised about the critical reception of this film, because honestly, for me, this film could go 2 ways. It could be a surprisingly genuine and effective drama, that has raw emotion and truly honors the people involved, the people involved in the events. Or it could end up being shamelessly manipulative that exploits the dog's presence and its actions and whatever happens to it for the sake of a cheap emotional grab, for a cheap emotional tug at the heartstrings. And I'm beyond glad that the critical reception confirms that it's the former. Because honestly, I want it to be more like the former, because I don't like being forced to feel. Any more proof that I'm not a big fan of The Dog's Purpose? I wasn't a fan at all of that film, for God's sake. So I guess this one seems to have much more dignity and respect. My mom wants to see it. She's an easy sell for this kind of stuff. Really, anything with an animal in it is an easy sell for her. Not for me. I need to be convinced. I need to be convinced beyond that. But anyways, hopefully it will turn out to be worthwhile. 9. Alien Covenants, $1,826,579. I saw this and I thought it was fine. Actually, after I watched this, I watched Prometheus, and I think I like Prometheus better. It has. I mean, the film was. I'll tell you one by Alien Covenant. It looks beautiful, and special effects for the most part are pretty good. Production design is also pretty good as well. It's one of the most beautiful looking films I've seen all year, and the cast is really good as well. Unfortunately, though, it does have some, especially Michael Fassbender. He's the best part of it. But unfortunately, it had some issues. There is some bad CGI, especially when it comes to the xenomorph. It also there's also this twist they show that was really obvious. And there's also some really dumb character decisions that are honestly very frustrating. The Dog film was pretty intense, actually. I still managed to be engaged in spite of that, and it did manage to be effective in terms of suspense. But honestly, you can never beat the first two films. They're true masterpieces. Hopefully, Alien Awakening is a step up, and hopefully they don't drag this out for too long. I can see. I mean, I admire its ambition. That doesn't. But however, there are limits, obviously, and hopefully they give it. Hopefully, the series is a very strong payoff. 10. Everything. $1,627,295. I didn't see this, and I didn't care to, because honestly, it feels like it's just jumping on the Fault in Our Stars bandwagon. Sure, it's based on a book, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that book was jumping on the bandwagon of the success of the book, The Fault in Our Stars. And then, of course, the film is another result of that. I mean, honestly, it just didn't really make me catch my attention, and it didn't really impress me, the trailer. And not to mention that, no, in fact, this is basically just jumping on the Fault in Our Stars bandwagon. I just felt like, oh god, are they basically just going to be exploiting this main character's illness for cheap emotion? Because I don't need that. I don't need something that distasteful and disrespectful. I don't need that. I don't know if that's the case because I haven't seen the film yet, and I haven't seen that many reviews of it. But yeah, for now I'm gonna skip this. 11. My Cousin Rachel, $968,506. Okay, pretty decent. The reviews are pretty decent, and I am a big fan of Rachel Weisz, so I might check it out if it's playing in my area. Hope it's worthwhile. 12. Darwin Kid, The Long Haul, $656,843. Am I supposed to be surprised this is a big bomb domestically? How much has it made worldwide? Okay, so it's somewhat made its budget back, but it hasn't doubled it, that's for sure. $22 million budget, $28,075,926. Yeah, I didn't see this. I don't want to. It looks awful. And the reviews are really bad, so I'm not surprised it did poorly at the box office. No one cares. Well, I'm sure I ain't watching it. Or at least until it's get from GameFly, but they'll have to wait since, unfortunately, my mom will be getting rid of GameFly when I go to college. Oh well. 13 The Boss Baby, $512,445. I haven't seen this. I still haven't seen it, and I don't care about it at all. The bad reviews really didn't help. Bad reviews really just solidified that. Nice. I might as well... Honestly, I might just go ahead and watch Captain Underpants. That may sound weird when you put it like that, but knowing that has good reviews, I'm willing to just check. I'm willing to give it a chance. And honestly, it's nice to see that DreamWorks made another good movie. Sure, they're hit and miss, but honestly, it's glad that they made a good movie, and I really want to see them make more of that. And hopefully, How to Train Your Dragon 3 will be another one. Number 14, Snatched, $491,644. I saw it with my mom Mother's Day, and I thought it was really bad. I didn't laugh that much. The main character, played by Amy Schumer, wasn't very likable. She felt like this flanderized version of her character from Trainwreck. Basically has no real character at all. Basically just assemblage of certain traits. And of course goes through a very obvious character arc, and you don't care because there's not much to like about this character, and there's nothing really to latch onto because she's such a basic stock character. Goldie Hawn was definitely a lot better, but I didn't really care about him that much. I didn't care much about the chemistry between the two. They play off each other. They did a solid job playing off each other, but it didn't mean anything to me. Not to mention that tapeworm scene was disgusting. I actually even before that scene started taking place, I started gagging. Yeah, that wasn't the intention, people. Not to mention that was accomplished through some really bad CGI and then eventually a very bad prop. And also there's a scene involving Amy Schumer escaping that had some awful, awful, awful green screen. Not to mention the edit, it has some of the worst editing I've seen all year because it just cuts from point A to point C. There's no sense of a point B. There's no real smooth transition from one scene to the next. Not to mention I found that scene between Ike Barinholtz and the State Department agent to get kind of old and actually kind of annoying for me. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. I did see it with my mom, but honestly I think she has some really bad taste in comedies. I'm glad she liked it. Actually everyone else did, but honestly I didn't. And honestly, I just want to rewatch Trainwreck. I really do. Number 15, King Arthur: Legend of the Sword, $455,744. I haven't seen this, and I don't care to, because honestly, nothing about it really caught my attention, and nothing about it really seemed very promising. Because, well, it didn't really seem very promising to me, at least. Because I didn't feel like this was a natural fit for Guy Ritchie. I feel like his style was just there was no connection between the time period of this film, the genre, and the style. Not saying it can't work, but unfortunately, it just didn't seem very promising. And in fact, this was the beginning of a planned 6-film franchise. Jeez, they were really banking a lot on this. And knowing it's not doing very good, I'm not entirely surprised by it since it's not doing very well with critics. Oh, wait, it's bombing. Yeah. Guy Ritchie can do good things. I love Snatch. I still need to see Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Don't worry, I'll get on it. But, you know, he hasn't really been impressing people lately. I mean, some people I know do enjoy The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but I haven't seen it. Some people I know really liked it. 2 people, actually. Yeah. For now, I'm going to skip it. And number 16. The Fate of the Furious, $442,770. I liked it. I'm not sure I don't know how I compare this to Furious 7, but I still thought this was a lot of fun. It's just what you expect from this series. It embraces its stupidity. It just goes all out with it, and it's not afraid to destroy stuff. There's honestly one scene involving these cars being taken over by satellite and driving off this building and crashing to the ground. I was just thinking, I was kind of laughing at myself thinking, these filmmakers, this crew has way too much fun. And there was some bad CGI though, like whenever you see all those cars just chasing after, I think just going crazy all over the place, just crashing into things and all that. So it's just like this one scene where all these cars just go crazy and and some of them crash into this one building. Yeah, that was obviously very fake CGI. But it was still a lot of fun. It had some solid character moments. The actors are just as committed as before. The stunts are a lot of fun. It's just as enjoyably over the top as before, and it's fun. Though I do hope that the 10th film is the last one, because honestly, what more can they do with this? Hopefully, they will end on a strong note. Anyways, guys, that's movie news. That's all the box results we can take a look at. If you want to see the rest of them, the links to Charlie description below. Anyways, guys, movie news for this week. Comment below. Are you excited for any new releases? Are you excited for any new releases? Are you gonna watch them, skip them, or just wait for Netflix? Or you just skip them entirely? What do you think? Oh, hold on, guys. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I forgot to mention homie releases, but I'm gonna fix that. Anyways, the new homie releases came out today, Tuesday, June 13th. The first one is John Wick Chapter 2, which is the second installment in John Wick series. It's directed by Chad Stahelski, written by Derek Kolstad. And unfortunately, David Leitch is not involved in the director's chair because he was busy working on Atomic Blonde at the time. The film stars Keanu Reeves, Ricardo Scamarcio, Common, Ruby Rose, John Leguizamo, Ian McShane, Bridget Moynihan, Lance Reddick, Thomas Sadoski, David Patrick Kelly, Peter Stormare, Franco Nero, Peter, Sarah Finowicz, Claudia Girini, Tobias Segal, and Lawrence Fishburne. I really like the film. Has an 89%, 196 reviews. John Wick Chapter 2 does what a sequel should, which in this case means doubling down non-stop, thrillingly choreographed action that made its predecessors so much fun. I really like this film. This was so much fun. In fact, it's some of the most fun I've had at the cinema all year. And I saw it twice actually. First time I saw it, I was in the front row, and unfortunately, it was a really bad experience because while I could see what was going on, it was very obscured, and also my neck hurt after that. However, when I saw it a second time, which was with which was my sister, her boyfriend, and of course her boyfriend's brother, we were in the back row, and it was a lot better. And actually, my audience was a lot more was also a lot more audible that time. Oh, it was a much better experience. Although my thoughts on the film were still the same as the first time around. It's not as good as the first film, but it was still a lot. But honestly, it was still so fun. The action sequences were top notch. The camera work, the choreography, the editing were also top notch. The cast was also very committed. The new and returning players. I absolutely love Lawrence Fishburne. Yes, he had limited screen time, but honestly, he was just so much fun. And I'm so glad that he and Keanu Reeves are collaborating together for the first time since. It was so cool seeing them reunite for the first time since Matrix Revolutions, and thank God this was a much better film than that. And he's the complete opposite of Morpheus, but he was still so much fun. Chewing up the scenery, being so loud, and just so expressive. He was just so much fun. I hope we get to see more of him in future installments. And it was worth it. I can't wait to own it, that's for sure. It wasn't perfect though, unfortunately. Unfortunately, when it comes to John does have a solid motivation for getting back into the. John has a solid motivation for getting involved, of course being involved in the plot, and unfortunately, just doesn't have that emotional undercurrent that the first film had. Not to mention the third act gets pretty silly because sometimes certain background characters will just not react at all to certain things that are happening, even if it is happening, even if they can definitely see what's happening. And that was kind of distracting. Not to mention aspects of it when it comes to Criminal Underworld became very silly. I like that they expanded on it, but unfortunately, it doesn't mean that the film was free from flaw. Didn't have any flaws. Of course it did. This was definitely a lot of fun, and I really hope that the third film, that Chapter 3, is a very satisfying conclusion. Next one is Three Generations, which is directed by Gaby Dellal. It's a drama. It's written by Nicole Beckwith and Dellal. It stars Naomi Watts, Elle Fanning, Susan Sarandon, Tate Donovan, Linda Emmond, Jordan Carlos, Sam Trammell, Maria Dizia, Tessa Albertson, and has 30%, 37 reviews. Three Generations squanders a worthy premise on a feeling written story that focuses on dramatic signposts at the expense of genuine character development. Nah, crap. I'm getting really tired of this. The fact that unfortunately a lot of good talent ends up going to waste. It honestly does make me upset because I want to see more good stuff with talented people that have talented people involved. Okay, let me rephrase that. I just want to see more talented people being involved in good projects. Hopefully that'll end up being the case next time, but we'll have to wait and see. For now, I'll be skipping that, unfortunately. Next one is the Lego Batman movie, which is a spin-off of the Lego movie. It's directed by Chris McKay. Scripts written by Seth Grahame-Smith, Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, Jared Stern, John Whittington, and story written by Grahame-Smith. Has voice talents of Will Arnett, Zach Galifianakis, Rosario Dawson, Michael Cera, Ray Fiennes, Jenny Slate, Siri, interesting, Hector Elizondo, Lauren White, Mariah Carey, Eddie Izzard, Seth Green, oh really? Jermaine Clement, Billy D. Williams, Ricky Lindholm, Conan O'Brien, Jason Mantzoukas, Zoe Kravitz, Kate Micucci, Doug Benson, David Burrows, Matt Villa, John Benson, Laura Kitzlinger, Todd Hansen, McKay, Richard Cheese, Channing Tatum, Ellie Kemper, Jonah Hill, Adam Devine, Brent Musburger, Ralph Garman, Chris Hardwick. Has a 90%, 240 reviews. Lego Batman movie continues its blockbuster franchise's winning streak with another round of dizzyingly funny and beautifully animated, family-friendly mayhem. I really liked it. I don't love it like a Lego movie. I mean, it's impossible to beat a Lego movie, but this was still a lot of fun. It was really funny. The animation is of course fantastic. I love the voice cast. Will Arnett just proves that he was a perfect choice to play Batman. The rest of the voice cast is also really good. It's definitely a nice It definitely does a nice job poking fun at Batman. It does a very good job satirizing him, and I love the meta humor. And um, it was a lot of fun. It really was. I really do like the satire, and it's kind of cool. And it was a lot of fun. I especially love the opening song Batman. I especially love the opening song Batman sang. That was a lot of fun. That was probably the high point of the film. But hey, the rest of the film is also pretty good. If any issues I have, there are some issues I have with the film. Really, just the pacing. Because when there are some scenes that are trying to be emotional, they go through them way too quickly, which unfortunately just doesn't make it as emotionally resonant as intended. And not all the jokes hit, obviously. There are a lot. I mean, they throw jokes left and right, and while the majority of them hit, there are a couple that unfortunately did miss. Sad because I wanted every single joke to hit. But I still had a lot of fun. I did laugh a good amount of time. I did laugh a lot. I was constantly smiling, and it was a lot of fun. Also, the end credit song is also very good. Yeah. I'm glad to see that this franchise. I'm glad to see another solid installment in this Lego franchise, and I really am really excited for the Lego Movie sequel. Really hope it pays off, and of course other future installments. Next one is Table 19. Table 19 is a comedy directed by Jeffrey Blitz, script written by him, story written by him, and of course the Duplass brothers, Jay and Mark. Stars Anna Kendrick, Craig Robinson, June Squibb, Lisa Kudrow, Steve Merchant, Tony Revolori, Wyatt Russell, Amanda Crew, Andy Stahl, Mariah Thayer, Andy Daly, Thomas Coquerel, Margot Martindale, Becky Ann Baker. Has a 23% 98 reviews. Table 19 is marginally more entertaining than actually sitting with a table full of strangers at a wedding, although most screenings won't come with an open bar, which makes it a wash. I was actually kind of interested in this for some reason. I mean, I know it's supposed to come out in January, but I did like Rocket Science, which was written and directed by Blitz. And, the Duplass brothers have done good things. I'm a big fan of Season 1 of Togetherness. And, I love the talent involved. Now, something this could also be a different kind of... The comedy was a bit different from its traditional counterparts. And considering the review, and after when the reviews were posted, I just skipped it entirely. And also, I know 20 Tiger Dude hated it. Oh, God. He gave like 1 out of 4, in case you haven't seen his review yet. And that's really sad, actually, but, oh well. It is sad seeing such great comedic talent go to waste. Seriously, I've seen these people do good and done good stuff in comedy films. And also, Anna Kendrick did what also has done. I mean, they've all done very good. They've all done great stuff in comedy, so this is just upsetting to me. Hopefully their next films will be something better, and also same for Jeffrey Blitz and the Duplass brothers. Really say anyone involved. For now, I'm skipping this. Sad because I wanted to like it, and also because I want it to be good and hopefully support it. Anyways, guys, any news for this week? Comment below. Are you excited for any new releases? Are you going to see them, wait for rental, or just get them entirely? What do you think of the home media releases? Are you going to rent them, buy them, or just get them entirely? What do you think of the box results? Do you have any predictions for next week? If so, in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next video, see ya.